goes left. Pulls up, looking for the lead, and got it. Jalen Williams, 2 seconds, 1:11, 1:09. Now SGA, probing, piercing, spinning, hanging for the lead, and SGA knocks it down. The Thunder finally get the defensive stop, and SGA puts them in front.
I'm Kenrich Williams. You're listening to Topic Thunder.
And welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Top Thunder Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Huntsinger at Thunder Chats. We are part of the Believe Network. This podcast is brought to you by the good folks at FanDuel Sportsbook Network. Guys, welcome back. It's our first podcast since Sunday. It's Cone's first podcast since I don't know when Cone's last podcast was, but he was in a bad way on Sunday, so he missed out on the group pod for the first time ever. But hey, glad to have you back, Cone.
Thank you. Jerry tried to take me out. This is not the first time that Jerry's house has tried to take out one of us through food poisoning, but Jerry wants to keep denying it, saying that it was the Del Taco I had 36 hours before anything happened.
He wants to blame the Oklahoma establishment.
Yeah, because so for all those of y'all that didn't know, I woke up the night before like the full fan event thing. I'm like up late editing a video, and all of a sudden I start to feel kind of nauseous. And I'm like, okay, but maybe I'm just, I'm really tired. Like we had done a lot that day. Like we played basketball and like the hot weather outside for a couple hours. I got a little sunburnt. Like we had been doing a lot that week and kind of go. And so I was like, I'm probably just like really, really tired. So I go to bed and then I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I need to throw up. And then that has not happened to me in a long, long time. So I knew something was wrong and I hardly slept that night. I woke up, I willed myself to the game just to be in the building for the Wolves game and immediately got out of there. I was like covert ops, like in and out, SEAL Team 6 kind of stuff. Like it was crazy. So that I was in a bad way. And throughout that day, prior to me getting sick, all I had Chick-fil-A with Dylan, which Chick-fil-A has never seen me wrong before. And also he and his kids both had it. Yep. It was just that. And then we went to Jerry's and we had some food. And then I went to Brahms afterwards and got an ice cream cone, which my dad also got. And he didn't get sick. Dylan and his kids didn't get sick. There's only one place where I had food that possibly differentiated from somebody else. And I'm pretty sure it was that French onion dip. I'm pretty sure it's that French onion dip at Jerry's house. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Because
we all ate the burgers and we were fine.
We did.
Which, to be fair, we're sitting out for like an hour because Jerry just left them there. So honestly, might have still gotten me. That might have still been the burger. It's just the one I ate for some reason. But I think I was maybe the only one that had a little bit of that dip. I don't remember if anybody else did. I do know Hayden said he got a little sick, and I think he might have had some. So I tried to tell Jerry. I don't know if he's going to take my advice and get rid of that dip or those chips. I don't know if he's going to do it, but if not, then he's going to willingly poison someone else because it was absolutely one of those things. As much as he wants to deny it, and like it got me bad, and I couldn't really eat too much for like 3 days, but like I'm over it now. Like I got a cold now. I also kind of caught on the trip, but it was not like a stomach bug. Like it was food poisoning. I feel pretty good about it. I've never felt like that before. I'm pretty sure it was, and he wants to deny it. But Jerry tried to kill Dylan. He tried, and now I almost died. So he's 0 for 2, but he got close both times.
He's trying to take out all the Top Thunder members, man. Alex, you're next.
Oh, I know, man. I'm not going over. I'm not going to go over anymore. I'm 0 for 2. I went the both times that you went, and I came out unscathed. I'm pretty sure I'm next.
Just don't eat anything off. Like Dylan was the only one who had the water from Jerry's place.
It's probably going to be like one of his cats are going to come and scratch me. I'm going to die from cat scratch fever or something like that.
Yeah, just have the main entree. Do not have anything else, and you'll be fine.
It's like Final Destination at the Stevens house.
It's apparently just trying to take us out, which absolutely nothing against Jerry or anything like that. Like it happens sometimes. It is just hilarious that it happened to Dylan, and I'm like 99% sure. It's like when I got COVID for the first time, and I was like pretty sure where I got it from, but like I wasn't like I couldn't pinpoint it. Like I can't say it with certainty, but it was like also I went to the dentist and. Like my brother also got COVID and I was like, that had to have been where I got it. Cause like immediately after I go to the dentist the next day, I'm like, I don't feel well. So I can't say with 100% certainty. I don't have the court documents. I don't have like physical evidence that it was Jerry's French onion dip, but it was that. And I will go to my grave saying that. If it's up to Jerry, that grave will come quickly. So
Well, I was trying to put the comments on stream, but it's just on Alex's face right now, so we're just gonna take that off.
There we go. I moved it over.
Maybe I could put it in the blank space above your head.
Well, I moved it over. So TJ Troop says, "What's up, my G's?"
Yeah,
And
shout out TJ.
And then Weird Berto said, "Need to buy Jerry a new grill. Burgers should be 5 minutes per side and 7 minutes per side on them dogs." I had to work for like 2 days later.
There you go. Hey, the Stevens gate.
It's not me. I gave Dylan a lot.
Of
crap for when he got it at Jerry's.
It's just so Jerry. Like Jerry puts the meat on the grill and he starts, conversating. He starts networking like he always does. He's away from the grill for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Dogs are running around, getting close to the grill. Babies are getting close to the grill. And it's just like the grill just keeps going and keeps churning. Like, That's just Jerry, man.
Well, the burgers finished, and he took them off the grill and put them on the counter, and they were sitting there for like an hour.
He just had them covered up. Nobody knew that they were there. They were literally sitting.
Well, I saw him put them there, but I assumed, like, for some reason that he was holding on to them, or like maybe the fixings weren't ready. And I was like, this is kind of taking a minute that the burgers just aren't done yet, and they're just sitting there. And then he's like, "Oh yeah, burgers are here, by the way." I'm like, dude, tell me. I don't know.
This weekend, I saw a movie called Hoppers with my little one.
Oh yeah, I watched it without Slade Ninja.
Yeah. So in the movie, when the animals go, are looking for the human leader, the human mayor's name is Jerry, and they were like, "Squish Jerry, squish Jerry." I'm like, that's what Cone and Dylan are gonna be screaming next time we have a fan event.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna coming to OKC for the playoffs. I'm gonna stop at a few spots for some food. Might hit some Brahms for some ice cream. I might hit Del Taco after Jerry tried to slam them, even though they forgot my $2. I paid $2 for 4 little donut bites because I want a little treat after the meal, and they didn't even put them in the bag, and it was kind of devastating. I saw it in the Del Taco parking lot. I'm like, I can go back through, but the guy who was very clearly like blitzed out of his mind taking my order, I'm like, I'm not gonna put it on this guy. He doesn't need any more stress. He's trying to chill for the night. I'm like, it'll be fine. I'd go back there. But I will not be having French onion dip from the Stevens household ever again. I'll have a burger there.
It might be Del Taco. He probably sprinkled a little bit of meth on there.
Yeah. Also,
did feel like, I don't know what meth feels like, but I don't think it would do that to me. I think I would have felt a little different.
Also, whenever Jerry is working the grill, he fully he doesn't use tongs. Like the fire's just raging, and he's just just times the flame and just flips everything over. And the flames were literally this. Yeah, dude.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, the flames were literally this close to his legs. I was like, bro, you're gonna singe all your leg hair off. He's like, no, it'll be all right. I'm like, all right, man.
All them pool chemicals he's ingested.
It's like,
he's immune to anything.
Let him cook.
Literally
ingested. Jeez.
So this is a Thunder podcast.
It's not a Jerry podcast.
This is the Stevens show, the Stevens report, something like that. We can figure something
Stevens, out. Come on now.
Oh,
that was a banger show.
There's something there.
Tom and Jerry.
Wait, Kevin, you never seen Even Stevens?
I don't know. I think that was after my time.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
Alex, what the frick?
It was before my time. So So you're in the middle.
That was.
It was a sitcom that came out in 2000. I was born that year.
Fair.
Yeah, man, and I was 19.
That just makes me feel old. I was 8.
It ended when I was 3 years old.
Oh man, it was like
3
years,
seasons. Right? That's crazy.
Bro wants me to remember a 3-year show that existed when I was 0 to 3 years old. After I'm recovering from Stevens poisoning, is what you want me to go for. I'm still mental. My mental's not all the way back, man. You can't put that on me.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, hey, you know whose mental is all the way back? The Oklahoma City Thunder. And it has been all the way back since All-Star break. And even the one hiccup that we had in which we lost by single digits at Detroit I think we was missing 7 rotation players, including, Shai, Chet, Dub, obviously. And I think Caruso was out. We was missing a whole kit and caboodle of people. Since then, we are now on an 11-game win streak. And with the Hawks losing to the Rockets the other night, we now hold the longest active win streak in the NBA. So the Thunder are once again the hottest team in the NBA, always right in the world. The reports of our demise early in the season, like in the middle of the season, were a little bit exaggerated, a little bit off, and like the hierarchy's back where it needs to be. Like it really feels like the Thunder, in spite of still not having Jalen Williams out there, in spite of just like losing 3 rotation players right off rip, like in the second half of before the second half of tonight's game, the Thunder are still just an absolute machine. And I'm just gonna say this, obviously we're Thunder fans, but even like unbiased objectively, like this should scare the rest of the league. Like they should be afraid. They should be very afraid.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that like we kind of just came into this year assuming we were going to get the 1 seed. Like that was just kind of the way it was going to be, with how good this team is. We ran away with it last year, had the biggest margin between a 1 and a 2 seed ever in a conference. There's not a lot of teams ever that have gotten the 1 seed 3 years in a row. It's very rarely a guarantee, even when we're talking about, historically dominant runs. Actually, do y'all know how many times it's been done? Like how many teams have had a 3-year span of 3 straight 3 seeds or 3 straight 1 seeds?
I'm gonna say 4 times.
Are we talking about conference 1 seeds?
Yes.
I'm gonna say like 5 times.
So it's 6 going back to 1980. The 1988 to 82 Celtics, the 84 to 88 Celtics. So they had a 1-year gap and they did it again. Basically kind of the same team. 1982 to 1990 Lakers, for 9 straight years they did it. They were going crazy in that time. They made the 7 finals, won 4 of them. We're talking about like Magic Johnson. Of course, the 96 to 98 Chicago Bulls, the 08 to 2010 Lakers, and then the 2015 to 2017 Golden State Warriors. So we're talking about some of the most historic, the Celtics of the 80s and the Lakers of the 80s into the 90s, and the Chicago Bulls and that Lakers team that went, to 3 straight finals and went back-to-back in 09 and 2010, and then the Golden State Warriors that might be the best team ever assembled. Like we're talking about some of the best teams ever that have been able to accomplish that. So, as much as we came into the year and kind of felt like it was probably a given we were going to get the 1 seed, and barring like us really struggling down the stretch and the Spurs maintaining past that, they've got some tough games coming up. We've got some tougher games, but nobody against, we don't have any more against the Spurs or the Nuggets. Like we've got one coming up against the Celtics. There are some games that are going to have to be played, but like the Pistons are going to be without Kate Cunningham, for example. We do have the Knicks, the Lakers a couple of times, or one more Nuggets game, I forgot, in Denver, April 10th. We'll see where we're at, but 3 games ahead of them. We end up as the 1 seed again. Like obviously that's not the goal. The goal is to win another championship, but it is like a crazy accomplishment to get the 1 seed, especially in this like era of parity, 3 years in a row. It's kind of crazy. It's only the 2nd time since 2010 that's happened.
Yeah, I remember going, looking back on this season, whenever we were kind of like, predicting how we would do, and just looking at this stretch after the All-Star break where, we're playing Detroit, we're playing Boston, we're playing, all those teams. And it got a little bit worrisome there when you looked at that part of the schedule and you knew that you were struggling with injuries. You knew that you were struggling maybe with a little bit of your confidence. And the Thunder came out after the All-Star breaks and have checked all the boxes that they needed to check. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has checked all the boxes that he needed to check to be that MVP guy. Like he has literally put this team on his back again, because that's what he was doing for the first 50 games of the year before he got hurt. But he put the team on his back again, and he was hitting game-winning shots. He was hitting game-tying shots. Like he was hitting those shots that need to be hit during this time of year to be even considered for the MVP race, and basically shut the MVP race down whenever he did that in Denver or against Denver. And so, yeah, I mean, when we looked back at this stretch of the season, we thought, okay, this is the time when they're going to get tested, and we've actually aced this test, and we know the answers. We just have to know what the questions are. So yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, as you was mentioning, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously he had a great game tonight. He's had a stretch of great games ever since he's come back from his injuries. Like he's been absolutely phenomenal. I will say that the other night, after Luka dropped to 60 and Wemby hit the game winner, Shai was still a minus 2,000 on MVP. Right now, FanDuel, shockingly, I already told Cone this. Alex, what do you think his odds are on FanDuel right now for MVP?
Minus 1,800.
Minus 1,500.
It went down?
Yeah, which like I don't even know why, because Luka, I was looking tonight, Luka, they beat the Magic thanks to Luke Kennard. Wow, the trade finally worked out. But I think I saw he was 2 of 13 from the field in the second half. And like, was not playing like an MVP at that point. And Shai dropped 40 points. Again, it was against the Wizards. Like, I get it. It's not as a big of a team as the Magic, but I mean, we played the Magic a couple nights before that, and Shai dropped an efficient 40-point game. Came up big in the clutch once again. Still MVP moment. So I don't know why the odds went down. I mean, if I'm a Thunder fan, I hope the odds keep going down. I hope that it'd be awesome if the odds would flip and Shai would get, be in the plus part, because I don't think there's any way possible that Shai doesn't win MVP if he plays a lot amount of games the rest of the season. I think that, the consistency that he's done throughout the season, consistently dominate. You put in the clutch stuff, you put in the narrative stuff of, all the injuries. The Thunder have missed the second most amount of games in the NBA in terms of, injuries this season. And Shai has just been the steadying force in that. I think, between all that and, still like being the number 1 seed in the NBA, like Shai's award to lose. Like it's really funny. I saw somebody tweet this out. I don't even remember who it was, but like over the last like 2-3 months, it's always like, oh, like, at first it was like Jokic and Shai, like that's the NBA conversation or MVP conversation. And then Wemby kind of got thrust into the mix for a month. And Jaylen Brown was the hottest for a month. And Cade Cunningham. And now it's Luka Doncic. And it's like, the constant is in all those MVP conversations, it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And there's probably a reason that guy's probably going MVP.
Yeah, I mean, there realistically isn't an MVP race. It's, we got to talk about it at the end of every year because people got to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
There's not an MVP race anymore. The only way that it would become a race is, we play the Lakers a couple of times. Shai would have to have like the worst games of his season, both games against the Lakers, and Luke would have to go crazy. And like, that's the only way where this even becomes somewhat of a conversation, because recency bias does affect people. In my opinion, the main reason why it went, well, it's funny because the other night Shai wasn't playing and Luka had like a 45-point game and Shai's odds got better. Like it just kind of also like reflects betting trends. Like probably there are people betting on Luka, and so they're lowering the odds a little bit. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, also it's, I think, a factor of everybody else has kind of dropped out of the way. Jokic isn't a serious contender anymore. Wemby's been up there in that race, but some people have kind of backed off of him a little bit. Cade isn't going to play enough games, so he's completely out of the picture. I think it's more so like
that sucks.
Yeah, which really sucks. All NBA is going to be weird this year, but like with Cade or with Luka, he's, in a spot where he's kind of established himself as like the number 2 right now. And so I think it's more so a reflection of the fact that there is a clear number 2. Like there've been a few different guys, but here at this late point in the season, there is someone who theoretically has a shot. He's the only guy that has a realistic opportunity right now of making it some type of a conversation, or not, I wouldn't even say realistic, like 0.1 percentile of making it a conversation. But it's one of those things where, again, it's just people kind of needing something to talk about. Shai minus 1,500, minus 2,000, either way is like historically prohibitive odds at this point. Like that is closer to unanimous than it is to losing the award. Unfortunately, because it's a Lakers guy and Luka. I mean, Luka's been amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like I think he's probably put himself number 2, number 3 for me in there. I do think Wemby has also been ridiculous this season, and what he's done for the Spurs is it's hard to put into words. He's established himself as a minimum top 5 player in the world at this point, but it's, you can go back and forth. But Luka, like, I always thought the criticisms were too much against Luka Doncic throughout the season, especially earlier. Earlier on, he was struggling a little bit. He started off going crazy. Then he really struggled for like a couple of months. And the month of February, there was a lot of people really down. Like people were talking really bad on Luka. There were podcasts, national media people talking about, oh, like I hate watching Luka. He complains all the time. Like, yeah, these are valid criticisms of Luka.
They were bringing up the trade again. They were bringing up the trade and saying, hey, Dallas might have had a point.
Which, like people forget about. Not that I don't think it was deserved to have that type of, referendum on Luka Doncic, who is one of the best players in basketball, one of the best offensive engines I've ever watched. But there are flaws to his game, and Shai has just done this the entirety of the year. And I continue to think the injury thing kind of goes overlooked. Like LeBron has missed some time, Reeves has missed some time, but J-Dub has basically not played this season. I mean, he said it himself. He's kind of been more cheerleading so far this year because he just hasn't, he struggled with those injuries. Not that Dub, there's no issue with that. Like, it's not his fault whatsoever. We're being cautious with him, but he's hardly been able to play, and the Thunder have the second most missed games due to injury, only behind the Memphis Grizzlies. Shai's putting up historic numbers. It's literally just because people are bored and because it's been a couple of weeks now since that Denver game that kind of ended everything. Like, we're going to play the Celtics in a few days here. Shai has another big game against the Celtics. It's, again, going to be a wrap. Luka struggled tonight against the Orlando Magic. He's not as consistent as Shai. There are going to be, not some like stinkers, but there are going to be games that aren't that great for Luka time to time, especially efficiency-wise. Like, the race is going to sort itself out. I mean, it's already over. Like, it just is over, but people want to have a conversation. So that's kind of where we're at this point. And I'm going to put this out there. If you're listening and you're on Twitter, fighting with these people, it's a lot of engagement bait. Like you really don't got to give them the engagement bait that they're looking for. There's a reason I'm not doing it anything. I just tweet out at one point, like, there is no MVP race, and just left it at that. Like, I'm not going to get into it because you don't need to get into it.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where Shai's consistently been the one the entire year, and we've had, different casts of. Hi, Dylan.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to refocus my camera.
We've had different casts of characters come up, throughout the season. Like, now it's Luka's turn. The Lakers are, they've won 8 or 9 straight. They're tearing it up in the West now, moving up in the rankings. And so it has been a lot to do with Luka, and he's currently on a hot streak. He's currently doing great. I think Wemby reminds me more of like Shai from like 2 or 3 years ago, where
he's 2024 Shai.
Exactly. He's 2024 Shai. He's being noticed, but it's not his time yet. His time will be next year. And deservedly so. Like, if he stays healthy, he's going to put up stupid numbers on both ends of the floor. And that's the thing. That's kind of what you look for in an MVP candidate. Somebody that either completely changes the game on one end of the floor, like Jokic has done for the past 5 or 6 years, or most MVPs are players that are able to play on both sides of the floor and do it consistently. A guy like Giannis, a guy like Jordan, those types of players, LeBron, those types of players. Or when you look at the other end of the spectrum, Steph Curry changing the game completely on the offensive end of the floor, but also not being a traffic cone on the defensive end of the floor. And so with Shai, him being a part, a lot of people say, oh, you just don't want to give the MVP to the best player on the best team. And that's very true. You don't just want to give it just because of that caveat. But best player on the best team who's having a uber, one of the best efficiency-wise seasons for a guard ever. Somebody who does it on the other end of the floor, not just in steals, but also in blocks as a guard. Like, you're looking at somebody who is changing the game, and guys are starting to notice that. Young players are starting to notice that. Young players, I think there were some players in the NCAA tournament where, like, who does he remind you of? Who does he remind you of SGA, talking about their teammate. And so he's starting to change the game as far as, like, people are starting to notice him. People are this guy is starting to take over completely. And so he's been the MVP the entire year. He has not let go of that reign. And, it is what it is. Luka's had a great run. He's been great the entire season. Don't get me wrong. He's led the league in scoring. Yes, that's a full season type thing, but it's not just scoring, man. Like, he's had different times in the year where, like, he has been a liability on the defensive end. Different times of the year where he's been a liability on the offensive end because he's been complaining too much. He hasn't been, as efficient as he normally is. And so those types of things tend to play against you. And so, what you're seeing now is you're seeing people trying to drum up interest, drum up, narratives. But the MVP this season has been SGA, and that's game over after this stretch of games that he's had.
Yeah, before this like month of basketball, like, Lakers fans was actively like critical of Luka Doncic and his style of play, his antics and whatnot. And like, now that this, like, not even full month of basketball, like, since this like 3-week period of basketball has been happening, everybody's like all up on Luka's jock. So I mean,
yeah,
like we all said, like, it's definitely Shai's to lose, but it's It's funny how, names keep creeping up in the conversation, but
NBA is the most recency bias league there really is. Because you can put up such ridiculous numbers and make such a crazy individual impact. Like, it's just, and again, Luka's very deservedly going to get his first top 2 MVP finish. I think he's going to finish second. It'll be him or Wemby. If the Spurs get the 1 seed, I think Wemby could possibly grab that 2 spot, but it's going to be probably Shai, Luka, Wemby. And that's kind of, the future. Like, if the Lakers put a better team around Luka and the team is competing for one of the top seeds next year, like a 2 or a 1, then I could see a world where Luka's competing for it. I think Wemby will probably be the favorite going into next season, deservedly so. Back-to-back for Shai, and with the Spurs being so rapidly on the rise, like he's going to be very heavily favored, I'd imagine, going into next season. But it's just, a lot of guys, and obviously a lot of people say like, but it's insane that Luka hasn't got one yet. It is like Luka's insane. Yeah, it is crazy that he hasn't gotten one, but it's just he's unfortunately playing in an era with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic at this point. Like,
and now
and now Victor Wembanyama. Like, it's just this hyper talented era. He's just kind of in a spot where Dallas kind of set him up, and the team never really had the team success you need to win MVP. And I've seen some people be like, well, Jokic won it as a 6 seed. This Jokic wasn't going up against this version of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And people were talking about like, but Luka's efficiency now is like a little bit better than what Shai's was last year. Okay, but now he's going up against Shai of this year. It's just the arguments kind of get circular in a little bit of a way, because there really is no like real argument against Shai for MVP at this point. So
yeah, it's like the Jokic fans using all the advanced stats to point to why he was better to. Now the numbers favor the advanced stats favor Shai now, so it's like gotta find a new slant. Like look at this PRA, man. Like, come on now.
Yeah, it's a lot of PRA conversation out there too.
Yeah,
but he was awesome tonight. Shout out to him. I mean, especially when you think about guys getting ejected, like just going crazy out there, man. A little bit. Dylan, was it you who tweeted that it was a little Pistons game like?
Yeah, it really was. Like, it felt like last year, obviously. We were already down like a few players in the Pistons game, and then I think Chet might have got hurt. Somebody got hurt like in the game and had to leave, and it was just like
somebody always gets hurt against the Pistons when it comes to that.
Yeah, it was just like Shai, obviously put the team on his back and had like 3 like consecutively, like 3 of like the best like basketball moves I've seen him make like in his life. And then tonight, it was less like I said, less like AM1 mixtape tour type moves. It was just like good sound, like consistent downhill basketball. And it was the same thing. Like, obviously we was missing Dub tonight. Dort was rolled out tonight as well. But, we had the big thing that we're going to talk about where we lost 3 players right before halftime. And Shai, who already had 20 points at that point. I think he had 18, and then he scored immediately after that to get 20 right before halftime. In the third quarter, just came out, scored 16 points in the third quarter.
Already had his 20 by halftime.
Yeah, it was just a relentless pursuit at the rim. It didn't matter who was on him. Like, shout out Bilal Coulibaly. He had a great game tonight. I was very excited to see that. I was very high on him in the draft and whatnot. I thought he played really good defense on him, but it did not matter, man. Shai was taking on all comers at the rim. He had some crazy finishes, obviously getting it done on defense. And I mean, his jumper was just on fire today. I think he had that step back 3 like right before half.
That was end of third quarter.
End of third quarter. That's what it was. That ended the 16 points. Yeah, like he was in like a flow state, man. Like, it was nuts. Like I said, it wasn't as flashy as the Pistons game, but it was like, I even tweeted out after halftime, like after the whole fight thing. I think we was up 3 at half or something like that. I tweeted out, like, I'm not even sorry for the belt that you guys are about to receive in the second half. And granted, it took a while for the rest of the team to catch up, but Shai kept it close going into the fourth quarter, and then the fourth quarter, the belt fully came out. But, yeah, Shai was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys where you just, the game, even if he starts off the game a little bit slow, kind of takes a bit to get going, where it's going to go. Like, he's got a gear that no one in the league really else has right now, where I don't think there's anyone else in the league that you can just so reliably decide that you're not going to be able to stop him. His superpower is scoring resiliency at a level that we've almost never seen. You can slow down almost every other score in the NBA. Like, you can put them in a bit of a rut. Shai's just kind of a guy you can't do that to. Because you can't send doubles because he's going to pick them apart with his playmaking. We saw it in the Denver game. You send a little bit of extra pressure. He's gotten so good at beating a zone as well. Like, there's just nothing you can really do against Shai at this point. And again, that is a superpower. Like, Jokic and Luka, like, as great as scorers as they are, they don't quite have that to the same level. And it is the Washington Wizards. They're not exactly that great. They gave Bam Adebayo 83 points, but they had a crazy magnet ball going in this game. Like, everyone was hitting threes. They physically couldn't miss, like, crazy middies, turnaround shots. And you knew those were going to drop eventually, but you just got to hold the lead until they do. And the Thunder held the lead the entire game, outside of a couple of quick moments. And a lot of that was Shai just, doing Shai type of things where he can't really miss out there. And, it is like the layup falling to the ground, the step back three, which he got smacked on, but whatever. Mid-range jumpers, like, right attacking the rim. Yeah, I mean, a lot of contact. It was a contact-heavy game, and a lot of some other guys stepped up too. Got to give a shout out to. I mean, AJ was awesome before the ejection.
Yes.
Chet was really good tonight. There were a couple, really nice turnaround jumpers. Hartenstein. I mean, even without the scoring, he finished 1 point shy of a triple double, which his teammates were giving him hell for. Saying that J-Dub specifically was telling, like, because he just completely bricked a wide open layup that had the chance that would have given him double-digit points, and Dub was giving him a hard time for that after the game. But his playmaking was awesome. I mean, it's just automatic when he's passing behind the back between the legs to Jared McCain, Isaiah Joe, either one of them. Like, that shot is just a guarantee. And that was the unit. I mean, we ran the unit just without the double bigs at one point with the three guards, and it was Kaysen instead of Chet with Jared McCain, Isaiah Joe, and AJ Mitchell. And that lineup did really, really well. Fourth quarter, it was a lot of, Isaiah Joe, Jared McCain, Isaiah Hartenstein. Like, those units just always fry. Kenrich fit into that lineup pretty seamlessly too. There's just a lot to like about the spacing, the shooting on this team, a lot of guys stepping up, and of course Shai just being the head of the snake to kind of keep us afloat until some of those other guys stepped up. And yeah, I'm fine with, at the end of the game, we were up like 16, 5 minutes left. You can like kind of justify, like, oh, put Shai back in for a second, and Shai just came back in, got a couple of buckets, got 40 points, and went to the bench. So
very quickly.
Yeah, we like a nice little 40 piece.
The exclamation point on the dunk too, like, Shai's like sneaky athletic. Like, people don't realize how
he tried to get up and dunk on like three guys at one point in this game. He tried. I was like, I've never seen Shai try to poster guys like that. He just got up for no reason.
It's nuts. You don't see him do like the Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards stuff. I almost think it's strategic because, like, that can do a number on your knees, like, after like years of like rising up on people. But like, Shai is every bit like athletic enough to get up and dunk on people like that. So I mean, hey, I'm cool with him staying a little bit floor bound, having a floor bound game, because that ages better.
It was funny at the Nets game with my fiance, and Shai dunked, and she's like, I didn't know he could dunk. I'm like, he's 6'6". She's like, I know, but he like never. But she's like, I know. I guess more so saying like he doesn't dunk, and I was like, yeah, he doesn't. Like, he does. He just shoots layups and stuff like that. And it was funny to hear a perspective on that, because, like, yeah, I mean, he doesn't really dunk all that much. And I mean, I'm cool. Like, he doesn't need to. He had a wide open layup. He got that poke away. I think it was on Bub, maybe. Like, he poked, like, he reached kind of around the side as Bub went by, poked it away, got the ball from Alex Caruso, and easiest dunk he could have had in his life, and he just laid it up and in. So yeah, we're cool with that. We don't need that. We don't need like a billion.
Save those knees, baby. Save those knees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Real.
Save them for the dynasty. Fellas, I want to talk about Jared McCain for a second, because in the past 2 games,
I just want to go ahead before you get started. I just want to thank Daryl Morey just for selling so high.
Our 2 best shooters. Appreciate it.
Selling so high on Jared McCain and just dumping Isaiah Joe into our laps. So it's like, thanks, guy. Thank you to Sam Presti's puppet. Thank you very much.
Dude, we were struggling at the start of the game, and we brought in Isaiah Joe and Jared McCain, went on an 11-0 run like that. And I started calling it the Philly mistake lineup, like Philly cheesesteak.
I rock with it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm calling it now. But talk about Jared McCain, man. Like, obviously, he had 18 points tonight. He had 26 points in the last game against the Nets. only had 6 points against the Magic, but played a little bit sparingly. They're like a much longer team. Feels like he struggles a little bit with the longer athletic physical teams, but otherwise, man, he's been absolutely phenomenal. And I was tracking this because I noticed this literally in these past couple games, obviously 18 and 26 points for Jared McCain. If you're looking at his Philly mistake brother, Isaiah Joe had 9 points today. And the game before that, come on, phone, work for me here, had 13 points against the Brooklyn Nets. So, lower scoring numbers than Jared McCain in those two games, but also lower than what we had saw, whenever Shai was out. And even when Jared McCain was first acquired and Shai was kind of getting integrated back into the lineup. So I just want to ask you guys, let me see here. So Isaiah Joe, in the 8 games that he played before this winning streak. So the 8 games before this winning streak, since Jared McCain's been on the team, he had 83 field goal attempted, and 32 of those were 3. Jared McCain had 69 field goal attempted, 34 of those are 3. So, yeah, very nice. So he's shooting more 3. He was already shooting more 3s than Isaiah Joe, but Zay was getting up much bigger volume, overall from the field. Okay, so and this is including tonight in this now 11-game win streak. Jared McCain has shot almost did my math wrong. Apologize. Let me do that real quick. Okay, 106 field goals in these 11 games, and 66 3-pointers. Isaiah Joe has only shot 94 field goals and 67 3-pointers. So it feels like a power balance is kind of shifting a little bit. Obviously, when they're both on the floor, our offense is it's like superpower. It's like the rainbow, and you get the star and in Mario Kart. I can't think of what I'm talking about. Yeah, you get the star in Mario Kart whenever those guys are on the floor offensively. But it feels like in this win streak, and it's not the only reason we're going on this win streak and why, we're blowing out, some of the best teams in the league or anything like that. But it feels like, I don't know if it's by design or if it's just happenstance or because he can do more with the ball in his hands or if they're working to integrate him even more. But it feels like Jared McCain is starting to get more shots in this offense than Isaiah Joe. And I'm not saying that Joe's getting phased out, but it feels like Jared McCain is rising above him in the rotation. Even if we get into the playoffs, Jared McCain might be favored in that. What do you guys think about it?
I just think I think McCain is able to handle the ball more. Mm-hmm. He's not necessarily you wouldn't put it in the top 3 as far as our team and playmaking ability or ball handling, but he's pretty easily number 4 or 5, probably in there with Hartenstein now. And so he's able to handle the ball. He's able to create, he is able to use the threat of the 3-point line to go ahead and do things into the paint and create havoc there. He does that thing where he dribbles all the way to the basket and then kind of circles around and, sometimes even creates his own offensive gravity to where he gets the ball back, while he's doing movement shooting and does that. So I think he's more dynamic offensively than is Isaiah Joe. Isaiah Joe, for all of his improvements, over the past couple of seasons, is still mostly just a play finisher in this offense. And so I think that does lend credence to the dynamism, or however you want to say that, of Jared McCain offensively on this team, especially in bench lineups.
I think the big thing is the relocation and off-ball movement of Jared McCain. I think that just opens up a lot of field goal attempts for him as well. I think it's also been J-Mac also just plays a lot we're blowing teams out at the end of games. We keep McCain in a good bit. At the end of those games, against the Brooklyn Nets, he got some more shots up. He was just in there at the end. I don't think Zay was. Maybe I'm wrong. But he kind of gets some of that run too. And I do think a good bit of it is, figuring out what we have in him, experimenting with him in different lineups. He especially plays a lot, at those beginning of second quarters, those units where he gets the opportunity to, handle the ball a little bit more without J-Dub. I think we're just kind of experimenting with him as that extra ball handler. And I think he is, a little bit more of that AJ Mitchell type role when AJ was out. who is, again, wants the ball in his hands a little bit more and has that really good chemistry, that really good give and go with Isaiah Hartenstein. He's like a little bit quicker too than Isaiah Joe. So he's able to kind of get to those spots. And it just feels like he's developed a really good chemistry there in those looks. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's crazy how, having Isaiah Joe, it's like, wow, this is such a luxury to have one shooter that's capable of this. And he's been taking more threes this season. He's been really good. And now we had another guy in Jared McCain. And it's like, oh my God, it's a revelation for us that we're able to even have two players that are capable of that. We're even able to discuss the field goal attempts that they're getting because there were so many years where we just didn't have those types of shooters. And I do want to real quick while we're on the discussion of these two, not so much talking about them in, separation, but in tandem. We've got a pretty good sample size now of minutes of the two of them on the court together. They put 116 minutes together so far, Jared McCain and Isaiah Joe. Would y'all like to guess what the net rating is of those two guys when they're on the court together in 116 minutes?
I'd say plus 52.
Oh my!
That would not that high.
Not that high. Okay.
I don't think it's that. I was gonna say like
they would literally never be allowed to leave the court.
I was gonna say like plus 21.
Close. Plus 22.7 when Isaiah Joe and Jared McCain are out there. 121.4 offensive rating, which I believe that would be top of the league. It's right up there, and a 98.7 defensive rating. So they've been really good defensively as well. Now, I will say part of that, opposing teams are shooting 25.8% from three against us when that lineup is out there. Feels like that's probably a little bit of variance. Like that's something that could come up a little bit. But I mean, the big plus is we're shooting 41.6% in those minutes from the outside. And I mean, it makes sense when you have Isaiah Joe and you have Jared McCain, who are our two best shooters. And I mean, you just see the ability that they have to kind of tear things apart. Now, I wonder if I add AJ Mitchell to this unit as well.
Then it gets up to 50
on the court. I mean, Alex, you're shooting a little low there, to be honest.
Oh my God.
It's only 12 minutes so far. But when it's AJ, McCain, and Joe plus 74.3. An offensive
still under, baby.
An offensive rating of 158.3.
That's amazing.
On that. And I mean, if I even want to go all the way to talk about the 5-man unit of McCain, Mitchell, Joe, and then the double bigs. Only 9 minutes, again, not a crazy sample size, plus 61.4 net rating. Or even just when it's just McCain, Joe, and the double bigs, because obviously AJ hasn't been back for that long. 34 minutes with those four out there, 44.6 net rating. So
I wonder if Mark has a pin in that. It's just like, I'm not going to use this anymore this year, but it's
he might. I mean, we saw that lineup for 9 minutes. I'm like, give me that in the playoffs. I would love to see that unit of Joe and McCain, or like some combination of those two and AJ involved in that, the double bigs and dub. Like, I would love to see some combination of that. And I'm super intrigued. Like, I wouldn't mind if in the playoffs we start off and it's Shai and Dub for like most of the first quarter. Like the first 8 minutes, it's Shai and Dub out there. Maybe J Will comes on, you take off maybe Hartenstein first and Chet's out there solo big, or you run double bigs for the first 6 minutes, then take them off and put J Will out there for 6 minutes. And then you start the second quarter and it's just that unit. It's, Joe, McCain, the double bigs, and AJ. And if you want a little bit more size and defense, you could put Dub back in. You could rest him for like the last 4 minutes or so, or even 6 minutes or so if you really wanted to, of the second quarter. But then you run that for like the first 4 minutes or so of the second, and then you throw Dub back out there for a few minutes, and then Shai, and you've got like this really nice stagger of kind of your best players. Because I think that unit can just hold water in the playoffs. Like with what we've seen it, because we saw it against the Wolves, who are a really, really good team. And we might play in like the second round. That's a very viable second round matchup. We saw them live. We saw them destroying everybody. I was basically, half alive because
it's what kept him alive.
Yeah, watching that unit kept me alive because of Jerry's French onion dip. But
Squish Jerry, squish
Jerry, man, squish Jerry. But yeah, that lineup's insane, man. I mean, just anything that has Joe and McCain in it together. I mean, even just J-Mac, like plus 8.6 in his minutes so far is 253. His net overall is minus 3.2 because in 2,555 minutes we're plus 11.8. But obviously that's all before J-Mac got here.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah, it's not his fault that that's what's going on. But it's just it is crazy how much just anything that involves those two, almost knocked my microphone over. I was so excited. Just kind of creates magic. Like that unit kills. It doesn't matter who they're out there with.
Yeah, it's also great that like he is fully bought in. Like there was a possession tonight in which the ball was going out of bounds and he like ran and dove and like flipped it back in. And then like immediately after, like he ran and dove and flipped back in, like on the same possession, like 2 offensive rebounds, like 2 offensive chances were created.
The big thing I've noticed too, in addition to that, like I've noticed a lot of those like attempts to save the ball and like back taps and stuff. He's become like really good at the swipe down. Like, I don't know if Mark like told him like, hey, that's something we want you to work on, but he's been doing that so well. He had one of those today. Like he's become a swipe down artist. Like you get someone under the basket and, he's not like the best defensive player in the world, but he's been putting in a lot of effort. I think he's done a pretty good job since he got here. And he's like that's one of the main things he's doing is like he will get down there and he will smack the ball out of someone's hands trying to go up and get a couple of possessions that way per game. It's amazing.
Yep. Love it. Love it. I wanted to ask you guys something, but we're going to ask you this on the other side of our break. We're back from the other side of our break. The burning question in everybody's mind. This is more just like a hypothetical, like just interested to hear your opinion on this because I can pretty much craft what Cone is probably going to say. And I have a good feeling what Alex is going to say, but I want to hear how you guys articulate this. So obviously the Thunder are the number 1 team in the league right now, record-wise. Shai's an MVP. AJ Mitchell, now that he is on the floor again, he has been stepping up in spades. He gives us a new dimension that we did not have in the playoffs last year. As a guy that he's the paint guy, like, he's automatic paint touch. And now, he's improved as a 3-point shooter. He's playmaking, really good defensively. And now we got the acquisition of Jared McCain as well, who, as we said, it's like you get the star in Mario Kart. It makes our offense just completely invincible. Just want to ask you guys this. We don't know when Jalen Williams is coming back for this team. We suspect he's coming back this road trip because of, some things that he said in social media and apparently on the post game tonight. We suspect he's coming back soon, but assuming he has another setback, and I'm tap dancing on wood. I am tap dancing on wood. But say you don't have Jalen Williams available in the playoffs. How many rounds do you think the Thunder can go without Jalen Williams?
3.
They can lift the Larry O'Brien. I think they can do it. I think Dub being back is what pushes us really over the top. The big thing that we need
way higher with Dub, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the big thing that kind of it's just with the depth of this team and how much AJ changes things as that secondary creator. The worry is the defense because Dub is one of our best defenders, 100%. And the big thing is guarding Victor Wembanyama. I think Dub is the X factor guarding Wemby. Like, assuming we reach that matchup, like we need Dub as that versatile wing defender. And he's also, one of our best downhill attackers. He's a transition weapon. He's a big part of us generating turnovers the way that we do. I still think we can get it done purely because I don't think I think whoever comes out of the West is winning the NBA Finals. The Celtics are really good, but I think with Tatum not really, being himself all the way, I think it's going to be hard. The Cavs have been super The Pistons, we'll see what Cade looks like, but they're obviously like wildly inexperienced. There's just no one over there that's like convinced me fully. The Knicks are the Knicks. There's massive highs and massive lows. Out West, I feel very confident in beating anybody that isn't San Antonio without Dub. Without Dub against San Antonio, that's where it gets scary. Because that's the matchup where I think he specifically provides the biggest difference. Because I do think he's really well set up to guard Victor Wembanyama, like really well set up.
And that's why I said 3rd round. That's why I said Western Conference Finals because
that's right. But I do think there's a world where the Spurs could lose before they face us. Yeah. I don't think it's likely. I think the Spurs probably end up in the Western Conference Finals. But I do think there's a world where the turnover issues that they have at times pop up. They get some big ups and downs efficiency wise from like Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper at times. Like if their shooters aren't hitting, they become pretty vulnerable. And like Wemby first time in the playoffs, I think there's a world where if a team is able to play him really physically, he can slow down a little bit. So I could see a world where like say Denver's the 6th seed or like, or the 3 seed or whatever, and they end up playing the Spurs in that second round, I think the Spurs could knock, or the Nuggets could knock them off. Like maybe a Wolves, but they're just so wildly inconsistent. I don't know. I don't know about the Lakers. I just think anybody on that team trying to guard it, Wemby is going to be a complete and absolute nightmare.
DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton dominating. They're going to give him they need to give him like gallons. They need like an IV of that, like whatever juice stuff that they use from whatever they were calling it, like this go-go juice. They need to put like an IV in it and just convince him that he's super dominating to try and stop Wemby for even a second. So yeah, I mean, Spurs are really the only team in the entire NBA where I'm not like, yeah, I would for sure take us, like no second thoughts without Dub. But his defense is the difference maker there, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. Like, obviously, like floor wise, I still think that we are at the best team in the NBA, like as is, like right now without Dub. But, Dub obviously just catapult your ceiling. And it's not even offensively, because I think a lot of what we relied on Dub offensively last year, we have now in AJ Mitchell in terms of just his rim pressure, the ball handler off the bench, whenever Shai goes off the floor, and, we have other avenues to generate offense when Shai's off the floor now. So it's strictly defensively. We don't have that swing, versatile defender that can guard, the best wing player, can, match up with a big, if he gets switched out onto a guard, can hold his own and chase him around. We don't have anybody else like that. Wiggins has the body type. Wiggins does not have the ability of Jalen Williams. So absolutely, I think that we could still win the championship if Jalen Williams didn't play, but obviously defensively, it brings this team to another level. And also as you said, in transition, that is also one of our superpowers, especially in the playoffs last year, cookies and cream, that's their bread and butter. Cookies and cream bread and butter is, creating turnovers and getting out in transition. And when those guys were out there with Jalen Williams, we were generating 20 points a game, 20, 25 points a game off of turnovers. And, because for my money, Jalen Williams is up there with Giannis and guys like that for one of the best transition players in the league, just because of his combination of size, speed, and his creativity around the rim. So definitely,
which is something big against San Antonio. That's against the Spurs, you don't want to do as many slow it down to half court offense setups. You love to get out and run, and Dub's obviously really, really good at that. He's just one of the most versatile wing players in the NBA when it comes to that defense as well. And I mean, he's a real difference maker. But yeah, like you said, I think we're the best team in the NBA with Dub not here, or if not fully himself. But if Dub is close to himself for the playoffs, that's the world where I don't think there's a world where anybody beats the Thunder. I think it's at most someone can force us into a 6-game series, but it's going to be 4s and 5s and maybe a 6 along the way if Dub is looking like Dub. And that's the main thing with me. I feel pretty confident Dub is going to look like Dub. I'm very happy we're taking all the time in the world for him to rest. I'm very encouraged by how his wrist looked when he first returned from that hamstring injury, because that game against the Suns, he looked good. He could not miss. And he even said, he was like, this is the best my wrist has felt since I got this. He's like, I actually got some time to take good reps. And now that I got some game action and know kind of what's wrong with it, I got to just chill out and only kind of do stuff to kind of work myself back. And now I feel really good. And so I'm sure there's been a lot more of that going on now while he's been out with this hamstring. I feel really confident we're going to see a great version of Dub. Probably not his best version. I don't know if he's going to be having 40-point games like he had in the finals, because he hasn't played a majority of this season, but I feel pretty confident he's going to be a really solid version of himself. And if he's his all defensive self, which, the wrist doesn't really matter when it comes to that, and he's somewhat of his offensive self, with this version of AJ and the extra shooting that's added by Jared McCain and Isaiah Joe with what he's able to do, and the best version of Shai, there's a reason I'm so confident we're going to win it again this year. Nobody is going to stop this team if Dub looks like Dub, which I feel pretty confident he's going to. And I mean, after the game, I think you alluded to it, Dylan. Yeah. He was making fun of Isaiah Hartenstein, and Isaiah Hartenstein looks at him and goes, "Are you playing basketball at some point soon?" Joking him back.
It's so funny.
And he said in kind of like a higher pitched voice, like kind of a joking voice. He said, "Demon home soon." And of course, he posted recently on his Instagram story, like, back soon. Upcoming games. I mean, he's on the road trip. He could play Monday in Philly. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case. Yeah. It wouldn't be a bad game for him to suit up. Like, yeah, Philly's like not. Yeah, it's always 2 days rest. Like at this point, like we're just getting 2 days rest every single time, which is great. And yeah, so I could see it being in Philly. Maybe he plays the game in Philly and then rests against Boston. I could see that, and then starts playing again in Chicago, or not in Chicago, against Chicago in Oklahoma City. And that's when he kind of gets, a little bit back more towards himself. Then there's the Knicks and the Pistons. He can play the Knicks game, against the Pistons, because obviously without Cade Cunningham, to me, that sets up pretty well. I just don't think he'd be on the road trip right now. I know, he joked and used Dylan's tweet about that he just wanted to go shopping in New York. But like the fact that he wasn't there in Orlando and they flew him out for the Brooklyn game makes me think there's a shot he's coming back against Philly.
Yeah. I'm honestly shocked anytime I get the tweet that Jalen Williams is still listed out on the injury report, because, I understand they're being cautious, but like, for all the reasons you said, like I thought he'd be back by now.
Every time that happens, I'm like, but then I'm like, it's another day of rest for that hamstring. So I'm good with that.
But I mean, which it's been, I mean, he tweaked his hamstring that game against the Suns, right?
Yeah.
It's been a month and 11 days. It's been 41 days since he's played. And the fact that you can get that rest, and we've lost 2 games since then, that weird one at the All-Star break against the Bucks, and without Shai, and then the game against the Pistons. Yeah, shout out to Uzma Jang revenge game. The fact that you can rest up all that time and get 2 losses along the way is so big. Like, that's probably, I guarantee you, like, if we were losing a little bit, they probably would have brought Dub back at this point. Like, they might have just brought him back. Not that it really matters all that much if we get the 1 or the 2 seed. Home court advantage is nice, but like, it's not that big of a deal. But we just keep winning. Like, and a lot of these games are, some are close, but a lot of them are comfortably, like, they're just getting the job done. And they're like, Dub, take as much time as you need. And as long as, I think 10 games of ramp up would be pretty nice before the playoffs. So if he comes back against Philly and plays against them, and then it would be the Celtics and the Bulls. Like, those games all have a day of rest in between, so we could play all 3 of those. But let's just say he skips the Celtics game, gets the Sixers game, the Bulls, then plays the Knicks, sits against the Pistons on a back-to-back. That's 3 games, and then he could play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the rest. So he could play like kind of 7 games the rest of the way if they wanted to really be conservative with him, skipping any and all back-to-backs, like at the one that's Lakers and Los Angeles and the Clippers in LA, that little doubleheader there. So we can get some good ramp-up time.
Yeah, and he'll get we'll get a week off, like between the end of the regular season and like the play-in and playoffs starting, right?
Yeah. So the last game of the season is the 12th, and the playoffs don't start until the 18th. The playoffs don't start until the 18th.
Yeah,
and 19th. So
so I mean, hey, you ramp up and then get a little bit of week rest. Get back to what you need to be, and then playoffs come around, we're ready to rock. I like it. Fellas, there are 2 more things I want to talk about before we end this podcast, and I alluded to this a lot, but I forgot to bring it up. Tonight, in one of the most craziest turn of events, Jalen Williams was just trying to inbound the basketball, and basically, it turned into an ejection for him, Case Wallace, AJ Mitchell, and Julian Champagnie. As I'm trying to find the video right here so I can show everybody. Jerry didn't get to watch the game. He was like, I'm confused about the minutes. And I was like, oh, buddy, like just sit down. Let me explain this to you.
Squish Jerry.
So I really wanted him to be on the pod just so he could, like, we can get his, like, first reaction to it. But he was unable to join. I guess he went to sleep. I'm trying to pull up. Shout out! Oh no, he didn't on Twitter, by the way. Just putting like game clips all over the place. Very, very good account. Where? God dang, bro! He tweeted so many Lakers things. All right, I'm almost there. I promise. Jesus, dude, he tweeted more about the Lakers tonight than he's tweeted about the Thunder all month. Okay, here it is. Yeah, whoa, scuffle and Thunder versus Wizards. This was nuts, by the way. Like, I was watching this live and I saw it like start, and I was like, oh, they're pushing. It's like, it'd be crazy if, oh my God, they're literally like in the stands.
Into the baseline.
Let me mute it real quick.
Yeah, there's a scuffle.
Yeah, it looked like it was gonna be nothing. And then Bilal steps in, tries to separate. Yeah, then AJ comes up like just so peaceful, and he gets smacked in the face. And I dude, I don't know if it'll show the camera view, but like AJ saw red. Like whenever that happened, like he was beelining to him. I don't know who was in front of him, but he sidestepped him and was like about to go right at him before freaking Anthony Gill, who apparently has the best lawyer in the NBA, shoved him into a camera from the back. And then that's when everything like really escalated. Yeah, dude, just absolutely nuts. And then in the aftermath, of course, the only Wizards player that got ejected was Justin Champagny, which rightfully so. He pushed AJ Mitchell in the face. But as I mentioned, AJ got ejected. Jalen Williams got ejected, and for some freaking reason, Kaysen Wallace got ejected from this game, and I still don't understand it.
So Kaysen comes in, and he pushes Anthony Gill like into, like he's the one that starts like the real scrum, and like pushes Anthony Gill into AJ Mitchell, and it makes it look like Anthony Gill did a lot more than what he really did. And so that's where Kaysen kind of got involved, and that's where Kaysen gets ejected from the game because they said that they weren't being peacemakers; they were exacerbating the situation.
What a word!
Which I don't see that with Kaysen. I don't
either. I just think his momentum carried him a little bit too far, and he did push Anthony Gill, but I mean, it was just more fog of war type thing.
Yeah, I don't love it, but whatever. I mean, there won't be any suspensions on our side, so it's fine. It's just hilarious that it was against the Wizards out of all teams.
Yeah. And it's so funny that teams just keep like trying to start fights with us.
Our baby brother, the Wizards.
And what sucked is Lou Dort was in street clothes for this one, so he couldn't even get in the action.
Yeah, which like now we're suspending players for like not necessarily being peacemakers, like. What I feel like I've seen a lot of those, and it wasn't necessarily an ejection. I don't know.
And I kind of blame Detroit because Detroit, like beef stew, like you can't have like an altercation that doesn't necessarily get like blown completely out of proportion because of beef stew. Like if beef stew is out there, he's gonna blow it out of proportion. And so I kind of blame him for this with this whole like. Out there being peacemaker versus somebody who escalates the situation. So yeah, another reason to dislike Detroit at this moment.
Yeah, it's all right. It's so funny. They honestly, I'm cool with it. I'm happy that our guys are sticking up for each other, and there's I'm fine with getting into all altercations.
It's cool to see AJ have that dog in him.
Yeah, AJ was like about it, like, and we know Jay Will's about it. We saw him with Jokic. Like, we're not, there's no questioning that.
Jokic and Sadiq Bey, and like the list goes on.
Yeah,
you're lucky Kenrich wasn't out there.
Yeah, man, they didn't want to see Kenny hustle over that way. They weren't trying to see it.
Hey, in a roundabout way, that brought Kenrich out there though, and Kenrich was scoring very efficiently for us.
Yeah, if you saw the video, I think Kenrich. You can see him like in the corner, like almost come out onto the floor, but he gets stopped by the coaches.
Oh, now I gotta see.
It's so funny that it ended up being Shai who was like pulling AJ out of the fold. Like it's Shai. It's out of everybody, it's Shai who's like bringing AJ out.
It makes for a really funny scene because he's literally having to like pull him, like use his strength to like get him out of there, and he's like, "Chill, bro, chill."
Okay, so watch the top corner. Watch.
Oh, they changed the camera view on us.
Oh yeah, no,
the whole team tried to get up.
Yeah, which you can't leave on the bench.
So I'm hoping that doesn't count as.
No, it won't.
It won't. Oh yeah.
Nah. Yeah. Shout out the assistant coaches. Getting in there and stopping that. Because that could have been bad if our bench got in there. Because then if our bench gets in there, then the Wizards bench gets in there, and then it could turn into turn into something crazy. Against the friggin' Washington Wizards. Like what?
Yeah,
save that energy for Detroit.
And man, I'm cool. Give it to everybody. Who cares? Anybody wants smoke? Sure, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'd take our roster in a fight over any other team's roster.
Yeah, just give me Lou at the front, and we're good.
Who was the random one? Was it James Johnson and Isaiah Joe or Kaysen? James Johnson and Kaysen Wallace.
Remember the
Bobby
one who
Portis? No, Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis.
Yeah, it was Bobby. Remember it was Lou Dort and Kevin Love that one time? Like
wow,
Dort Kevin Love got into it one time. I think he was with
crazy.
That is crazy.
Miami. Yeah, Lou Dort, Kevin Love. What team was he on? Yeah, Lou Dort got ejected for oh no, it was still when Kevin Love was on the Cavs. It was still Cavs. 2022. Yeah, there was
wow.
Yeah, there was a whole thing there. Dort got ejected with flagrant 2 against Kevin Love for elbowing him, and they got all up into it. Like I'm seeing the clip right here. I'm seeing Ty Jerome in a Thunder uniform.
Thunder legend.
Yeah, Thunder legend. Shout out to him. Grizzlies legend at this point.
Yeah.
One of the legends that's actually stuck around in the NBA. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So our 5-man unit on the court is Aaron Wiggins, Josh Giddey, Lou Dort, Ty Jerome, and Mamadi Diakite is out there.
Wow, that's
2 UVA goats.
That's one right there.
Yeah, we got 2 UVA legends right
there.
Yeah, man. I wonder if it'll show me our bench. I'm so curious. I see Derek Favors.
Derek Favors season. Oh yeah, Giant Dort. Remember that?
Derek Favors, Trey Mann. Yeah. What Diakite is trying to play peacekeeper. Look at him. He's not going to get in trouble. He's playing peacekeeper. Jetty Osman's up there in the fold. Ed Malloy's like way stuck in the middle. Man, what a throwback.
Osman. Oh my gosh. What happened to him?
I don't know. I thought he was supposed to be like second in command on the Cavs, man, for a second there.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out that way.
Quite work out
through. Fellas, it is March. It is March Madness. The tournament is alive and well. Mine and Cone's team have advanced. We both play tomorrow. Cone, right now, FanDuel has your guys' odds against the Tennessee Volunteers. It's got Tennessee favored by 1.5 points. Do you like that spread?
Yeah, I think we'll win. Wasn't the most convincing win against Wright State, but UVA loves to do that. Even the year they won the championship, I think they were down double digits to 16 seed Gardner Webb, and there were a lot of people like, "Oh my God, is UVA going to do it back-to-back years and lose to a 16 seed?" They kind of like to start the tournament slow and kind of pick it up as it goes on. I think they'll beat Tennessee. Tennessee had a really good showing against Miami, Ohio, like they pretty convincingly knocked them off, but I don't think. Tennessee's really good. Nate Ament, really, really good player. But I'm going to ride with my guys. So I'm not even talking spread. I'm talking money line.
Okay, I like it. Well, right now the money line
I'm biased,
for that
though, so
is
don't trust me on that. I'm biased. Don't trust me on that.
It's minus 108 on the money line. It's minus 110 if you go with the spread. But over under set at 137.5.
137. I would have said under for sure if it was old UVA, but new UVA.
Offense kind of clicking.
New UVA kind of got some offense. They won 82-73.
Yeah.
They kind of put up points nowadays. So I don't know on that one. I'm kind of in the middle. I don't got it for you. That line's pretty good. I won't lie. They kind of cook with that one.
They're pretty good with that. It's almost like it's their whole purpose is making.
Yeah, it's almost like that's their job. Yeah, that's fair.
And then also, as we mentioned, this is kind of Kentucky and Oklahoma adjacent because the Kentucky Wildcats had the moment of the tournament so far, playing Santa Clara. Shout out Shai Alexander and Jalen Williams and Case Wallace, of course. But Otega Owe, who famously played for the Oklahoma Sooners, for what did he play? 2 years, Alex?
Alex has disappeared into the void.
All right, yeah, I think he played 2 years. He's played for Kentucky for 2 years now. And whenever I asked OU people about, who is this guy? What's he do? How is he? A lot of people compared him to Lou Dort. Well, just saying. Watch this finish, by the way. This was nuts. This is March. This is why they call it March Madness. Otega Owe from the 3-point line, glass, cash. We're going to overtime. And we ended up winning. Otega Owe had 35 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and was just put the team completely on his back. And obviously you guys make fun of me for being a Kentucky fan all the time.
Yeah.
The times are a little bit darker now than they were in the Cow days, but got momentum, got Iowa State tomorrow. FanDuel has us a 4.5 point underdog. I don't feel super comfortable going with like the spread on that, just because I did see that Josh Jefferson for Iowa State is going to be out. So honestly, I don't know, man. Go with the hot money. Go with Kentucky spread plus 4.5. I like it. It's at minus 102, so better odds than Cone.
They're frauds.
They're frauds.
I have to say that. I have to say that legally. So
you can call them frauds, but they're frauds from being frauds because nobody believed in them in the tournament. I think I saw Santa Clara was like one of the most popular upset picks.
I picked him. I won't lie. I won't lie. I picked him. I picked Santa Clara.
Yeah. So sorry, Dub. I didn't, there was controversy. I saw a lot of people talking about like the timeout that should have been called. Apparently, according to NCAA rules, that if the other team's player grabs the ball before you call a timeout, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't call a timeout at that point. So sorry to Santa Clara. Like, it was a bad way to go out, but it's win's a win. Kentucky survive and advance. That's the theme for the NCAA tournament. So Kentucky was able to do that, and hopefully we can pull it out against Iowa State and move on to the second weekend for the second year in a row in the Pope era.
Yeah,
Alex, any hard feelings towards Otega Owe?
I wish OU still had him.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing pretty good.
He was great, man. I remember last year whenever he played you guys, I think there was one game he scored 18 straight points against you, and then the other game he had the game winner. It's like, dang.
Yep.
That guy's a dog.
The one that got away.
The one that got away. And no, I don't think anybody expected him to be like this. So,
no.
But yeah.
But I think like he has a little bit of that, like that Austin Reeves kind of type player in him. And so, yeah, it does kind of suck that he got away.
Yeah, if he was just a little bit taller, I think that like he would actually like be an NBA player. But his shot's inconsistent, and he's like I think 6'2", so he's like a little bit undersized. But yeah,
he's gonna get some second round buzz.
Oh, absolutely. I think he'll be a G League player for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if he can get a shot after that. But yeah, shout out to Otega Owe. Keep it up. We love Tegatron around here. So, fellas, with that being said, you guys got anything else you want to talk about before we peace out?
Just shout out to the Schlecht family. Andrew's a huge proponent of Thunder basketball as far as like media wise, podcast wise. Like,
the Podfather.
He's the Podfather. Yeah. So. His wife is going through chemotherapy, found out she had, breast cancer. So just shout out to them, prayers out to them. The Thunder community stands strong, is very, very strong, especially with Andrew and my wife, things with his podcast. And so, if you can support them in any way, go ahead and support them in any way. We champion that. So, we always look out for each other. We always come on each other's podcasts and things like that. So it's a community and it's a family within Thunder Media and Thunder Podcast. So shout out to them, prayers up to them, and if you can support them in any way, go ahead and support them in any way.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew and his wife, and all the prayers in the world out to them. Great people over there, and. Yeah, the Thunder community is awesome. Like I've like seen all the love that he was getting on that tweet and everything like that. It's not surprising. Like it's we get a lot of support here as well. Whenever we've been going through stuff, Dylan and his family going through stuff with Nova. Like it's exactly what the Thunder community has always done. So it's it's not surprising, and just keep being y'all. And shout out to everybody who came. I want a quick shout out to everybody who came in for the fan event. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I was actually dying. It was I just actually could not leave the hotel room. Later in the night, Dylan goes, "What'd you say?"
I said, "Squish Jerry."
Yeah, Squish Jerry. I could not leave. Like Dylan was like, him and his kids were like coming by, like they were like, oh, we're gonna head by the hotel, like on our way back. Like, do you want us to stop in real quick and just say bye? And I'm like, bro, I can't. Like, I just can't speak to anybody right now. It was my mom's birthday actually, and my dad kept saying, he's like, make sure you call your mom for her birthday. I'm like, and I've been texting her a little bit, but I wanted to like call her and say stuff in person. But I was like, Dad, I promise I will. But if I speak for more than like 15 seconds here, I might throw up. Like I just, it's a disaster. So I'm sorry I wasn't able to be there for the event. Do the half court shots with everybody and everything like that. But I'm glad. It sounded like it was an awesome time. I appreciate everybody who came out, and we'll see y'all next year. Hoping my fiance is able to make it out next year for that. Yeah. Or I guess at that point she will be your wife. Yeah,
so. Your wife.
So yeah, hopefully that's what we're up to next year, and make sure to roll through and see who gets Jerry's food poisoning next time, because it's always every year. What injury is Dylan gonna deal with due to basketball, and who's gonna get food poisoning because of Jerry? By the way. Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. It will be until next year when you hurt something else. I'm putting bet on like a spleen or something like that.
We should do a cow sheet. We should do a cow sheet on that.
Oh yeah. Like if you get an elbow to. I'm gonna say an elbow to the appendix that causes like appendicitis is probably your next.
Don't put that evil on me. Oh my god,
that's evil. That's realistic with you.
Listen.
The first play of the game, you like tweaked your thumb up. Like it's the most absurd things you can think of. I would be shocked if it's like you trip, fall, and we're playing outside, and a rock gets lodged in your ear, and you have to get it removed with like tweezers by a doctor. Like that sounds like something that would happen to you at this point. Like, and then also Dolan gets food poisoning.
Yeah. Dolan, it'd be really funny if Dolan can't even make it next year, and he just texts us like during that weekend, I'm like, guys, I got food poisoning. And then Jerry's like, it wasn't me.
No, then we find out Jerry, new food business that he started, sent samples to everybody, and his sample was rotten by the time it reached Dolan up there in Seattle. Yep. Which by the way, real quick, just want to say it's gonna be fun. I'm very excited that Seattle's getting a team back here. That rivalry is gonna be so much fun. I cannot wait. That's gonna be a great time.
Fan event in Seattle. Whenever the Thunder, open the season there.
I am down. We're never gonna open the season there because we'll be coming off another championship, so they're gonna do ring night here, of course. For sure. But that first OKC versus Seattle game in Seattle is going to be, I'm going to be there 100%.
Man, we can open our season and then like Seattle can maybe they play on the road and then their like home opener will be against us.
It would be I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I'm trying to picture like opening night, like 2028. It'll be like in OKC with the new arena. It might be. I mean, they might do Seattle against OKC like that.
Do a home and home. That'd be crazy.
They might do a home and home if you really want to. Although, no, because I don't think they would do it in Seattle I was gonna say if you want to do a real crazy Christmas game, put that in Seattle. I wonder how quickly those teams would get a game, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did like expansion versus expansion opening night kind of thing, like Vegas versus Seattle. Although those teams probably aren't going to be the best. It might depend on like if they get. I mean, unless they get like a top pick, I don't know what those draft classes are going to look like, but they'll have a pick in those drafts, so they can get a guy. I mean, we're going to see. You want to talk about odds with FanDuel and stuff like that? The MIP odds for that season are going to be hilarious. Because you're going to see some random dude drafted from one of those teams, and their MIP odds are going to be insane out there in like Vegas or Seattle.
We'll definitely talk about the expansion draft, but yeah, that'll be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I think they said the meeting is like probably by the next time we pod, like they'll have had the official like vote kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it was like March like 25th or to 28th were like the set of meetings. So it's coming up here shortly. Like,
and I'm pretty sure it's already set in stone. Like,
yeah,
they haven't even given any other city the opportunity to bid for it. Like, yeah.
Which I'm interested because Seattle, I'm not shocked, but like Vegas, I know Vegas, like it's Vegas, but I don't know. I've seen all this stuff about people being like, Vegas is like tourism industry's on the decline a little bit, and I don't know. Like, I just does Vegas have like a basketball crowd like that?
I mean, Summer League.
But Summer League is everybody. No one is in Vegas, like for summer league. Like people are traveling from outside in for summer league. So I don't know. I don't know if Vegas is Seattle's environment is going to be nuts, but Vegas, I don't know.
Vegas feels like a place where like a team can move out of there easily and it wouldn't affect anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's underwhelming for the first like 10 years, say, they could send them somewhere else. No. I just feel like there are a lot of cities that could use a team that would make sense. Like, they could do a St. Louis if they wanted to, for example, Louisville, like if they want to put a team in Dylan's home state. I hate I have to mention a Kentucky
Y'all come
team.
through, man. Come through.
Whatever, man. Whatever. Put
awesome.
a third team in New York.
Yeah. Why not?
Let's go crazy with it. Yeah.
Why
Vancouver. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a bunch of places that it could happen, but yeah, Vegas and Seattle feels like it's all but said and done. Real quick, I do want to say, so the Sixers and the Clippers won tonight, so they are officially out of the lottery at this point in the season. But I did a lottery spin earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw this.
I did.
It had the Pacers getting the number 1 pick and the Thunder getting the number 2 pick. And just like, what do you think the Clippers fans would do?
You want to talk about an arms race for a finals rematch?
Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be wild too.
They're adding they had like AJ and we had Peterson, or the other way around. Like, oh Jesus Christ! Like there's some crazy outcomes, man. That Pacer, bro. What date is the lottery again? Draft lottery, because it's got to be coming up here soon. Yeah, it's beginning of May 10th. That is a day for the NBA going forward, because that Clippers Pacers, like whatever happens with that changes a lot. And if the Kings don't get a top pick, they may never be relevant again.
That would be awful for them. Yeah, I'm really hoping that the Sixers and the Clippers are in lottery range at least. That way we have a little bit of a chance. Like, the Dumb and Dumber, like, so you're telling me there's a chance type thing. That's not.
Although I will say the one thing, very happy the Hawks have decided to be good, because it would be an absolute disaster if the Hawks end up in the lottery and the Spurs get a top pick. That would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. That would have been awful. Yes, right now, looking at Tankathon, the 3 teams that are above Philadelphia, Atlanta, Phoenix, Orlando, these are 3 teams trying to win. So, obviously, Cone highlighted Philadelphia's issues earlier. They played the Jazz tonight, so of course they were going to win. And then on the Clippers side, like Miami and Charlotte are ahead of them right now. And those are 2 teams that are also trying to win. Like, they're thick in the play-in hunt. Charlotte, I haven't looked at like the East, but like, is Charlotte like in the hunt to like be in the actual playoffs, or are they just?
Yeah, they're
right still now, 10.
They're really? 1.5. Well, the Magic losing tonight helps out with that. They're 1.5 back of the Magic at 8, and they're 1 back of the Heat at 9. Like, that range is all like way up in the air. They're only 2 games back of the 6 seed Hawks.
Okay,
so, which is crazy. Atlanta's up to number 6 right now, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we want to help ourselves out, literally our next game is against Philly. So if we want to go ahead and help ourselves out with that, we also play the Clippers one more time, I think. One more time, maybe 2.
The back-to-back. The back-to-back.
Yeah. I think it's just back-to-back.
Lakers and Clippers.
Yeah,
I'd say Shai says one of those. What do you guys think?
I think it depends where our seating is at that moment. Like, if it's kind of wrapped up, or if we're like still 3 up at that point, and it's like we'd have to lose out and they'd have to win out to make it happen, then sit in one of them for sure. Yeah, so I think
it really sucks. It really sucks that Steph is out, because Golden State just completely
they've just kind of given up
and just but they're stuck in that 10th spot. They can't get any lower than that.
Yeah, I will say Portland has won 3 straight, and they kind of are jockeying. Like yesterday, the Clippers were at 9 and the Blazers were at 8. Like, that's, there's a chance the Clippers miss. And the good thing is too with the East, the Eastern Conference is just better this year. Like, in terms of overall depth, like their top tier teams aren't as good as the Thunder, the Spurs, but depth wise, the 10 seeded Hornets are 37 and 34. Like, that's better than the 8 seeded Clippers. So if the Clippers miss the playoffs, we're in a pretty good spot overall, like comparatively to the East teams, to have that as a lottery pick. So
yeah, that would be crazy. Blazers are like low key like a fun team now that Scoot Henderson's back. If they can get,
I never sold my Scoot stock. I refuse. I'll never do it. Probably because I invested way too much and I can't give up now.
That's how I feel about Bilal Coulibaly, man. It's like, yeah, never wrong, just early, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Very exciting home stretch of the season coming up for Thunder basketball and NBA, like in general. Shai is the bona fide MVP. Hopefully we get Jalen Williams back here soon. And yeah, until then, hope everybody has a great night. God bless, hoop when you can. And as always, Thunder up.
Thunder up.